Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Patholkis, and this is His Dark Materials, Season 1, Episode 1, Lyra's Jordan, or Lyra's Jordan, however you want to pronounce it. Lyra is, yeah. Welcome everybody. So before I get started here, I'm going to take care of a little bit of business and then I'll get to some stuff here. So if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And if you want to know when I'm gonna be on live again next, you can actually take a look and hit the little bell down here. If you already hit the bell, don't hit it before again. It will unclick it. You can go in the bell settings, get as many or as little notifications as you want. I also have my schedule up on suspendedfanimation.com. That's actually a better bet. And I post that up on my Facebook page as well. It changes out every week. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, I also have a Patreon page, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet. That will be changed at the end of this year. So uh, I'm just going to say flat out here, I've never read the books. I didn't make it through the first movie. I know it's based on the Golden Compass, I think is what the movie was called, that one. And didn't make it through that. I think it's watching it on cable. So I am pretty much virgin when it comes to this thing. And also on top of that, uh, technology has been very, very unkind to me tonight. About midway through, my cable box decided it wanted to reset. So it actually blanked out when the old dudes were going looking for the kid, which we'll get to in a little bit here. And then my computer just decided to crap on me too just before the show started here, and I had to redo that too. So, yay for all of that. All right, with that out of the way, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the show, the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a thanks, Joe. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the new paddle. So, all right. Um, so like I said, I'm gonna murder a couple of names and stuff like that and places and so just don't be assholes in the comment section about this stuff. I am learning this world. So it's gonna take me a little bit of time to get into it, okay? So have a little bit of patience on that one. The authors of the book was an atheist. There was lots of Christian protests for the movie before they even saw it. Oh, I thought it was kind of preachy and Christiany actually when I was watching this one. I was like, I don't know about this. So they start off with kind of the internet without assholes. That's asking for a lot. I know, Morks. How drunk are you, by the way? And by the way, I want to thank your brother. I want to wish your brother happy birthday. The Moors, Moors is what it is. Is that how you pronounce it, Viking bitch? Morz. I saw that earlier, so I just wanted to say happy birthday to your brother. I think that's what she was trying to say. Yes, I know I'm being an asshole. So there we go. Um, so we start off with basically them telling us that this is a world that's kind of like our world, but a little bit different. And there's something called the magisterium that go pretty much have the entire dominion over the world, except to the north where there's witches. And when human souls get turned into animals called demons, and that's pretty much all you need to know, I guess, going into all of this. They did it fairly quickly, and I was trying to write furiously as I was doing this. And Oxford is one of those places to the north that the magisterium doesn't have a lot of hold over. So we see a helicopter landing in Oxford, and a guy who's James McAvoy actually taking a baby with him, and he walks into some water. He walks down some steps into some water, holding the baby up, and there's a halfway submerged door that he pounds on, and the door opens up and he gives this guy the baby and says, her name's Lyra, and I'm invoking scholastic sanctuary. And then he leaves. And then we see 12 years later that Lyra, there we go, Lyra, and a boy who we later find out his name is Roger, and two ferrets are racing through the school, and the ferrets actually talk to them. So these are the demons that attach themselves to humans, and they're racing through the school, and they go into the crypts, and actually, Lyra, thank you, Lyra. See, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna murder fucking names left and right on this thing. It's gonna be a bloodbath, literarily speaking. So Lyra has actually taken a bottle of wine as she's running down into the crypts, and she hides. And Roger really is not like the crypts at all, and she scares him. And they're talking about how their animals are going to change forms, and before settling on a final form. And then we see Azrael, who is James McAvoy's character, taking pictures up on the top of the mountain with his daemon, and there's a storm approaching, and his daemon is the leopard, and saying that, this thing's coming at us, we need to move now. And he says, just one more picture, I need to take one more picture. And he does, and then hightails it back inside, and he makes it down the mountain and into this building, where he opens up the camera, sees what he's got inside, and likes what he sees, and he's okay with that. And says, well, I need to be prepared before bringing this before the magisterium. And he says, and that if that doesn't work, I also need to bring a friend along. And we see him take what looks like a rock with a towel wrapped around it, and he puts it into a box. So we don't know what this is. Um, we see Lyra scratching some stuff in a desk as she's getting some lessons from Charles. And she see, Pan, her Damon, basically says that the uncle's outside, and she wants to go out there and meet him. Of course, she wants to go with him to the north too. And so she tricks Charles into getting a book that's way high up and out of the way, and she makes a run for it. Goes outside, through the window, is running along the rooftops, all this stuff with Pan following her. Um, and then we see the master, the guy who actually accepted the baby, wrapping up what looks like a compass, like a square compass. And we don't know exactly what this is all about, or I didn't know what this is all about. So, you know, and Lyra ends up going out. She's going into a forbidden room, but she says to Pan that, the room isn't forbidden if you're going to meet family there. So that's what the whole thing is. And she jumps into the window, sees a butler coming. She jumps back out the window, and she shuts it, and she's watching, and she sees the master come in. And the master dismisses the butler. He's got a bottle of wine, decanter of wine, and he puts something into the wine. And she sees this, and she goes, well, why would the master poison the wine? Well, why is it going to be poison? Why do you have to assume that kind of thing? And they're going back and forth about it. And that's when Azrael comes in, and the master says, there's a bottle of wine for you. It's a really rare thing. Have a drink, kind of thing. I got to go and do something. He leaves. The butler leaves as well, and Azrael pours himself a glass of wine, and Lyra comes jumping in through the window and knocks that out of his hand, and he says, "Explain yourself." And she tells him, of course, the master poisoned it, and he breaks the decanter. And she goes, "What? You're not going to confront him about it?" And he goes, "No, it's better that I just accidentally break the wine at this point." But I do have a job for you, he says. And he goes, "You're going to go into this cubby behind the wall here, and you're going to listen very intently for anything, and note whenever someone says dust, whenever somebody mentions dust." And he leaves her back behind this bookcase. So he starts presenting his findings in the north, or when he went up there. And what he really went up there was to find out what happened to the Grumman expedition. And he tells them that there's a light up there is due to the dust, and dust is attracted to adults, not children. And so he's showing them these pictures of a special film that he used a special emulsion on that dust is attracted to, and it looks brighter because of this dust. So um, he shows them the aurora, the northern lights, actually, and he shows it with his special emulsion, and we see a city in the clouds, basically a city in the sky. And he says, "This is what the magisterium doesn't want us to see." And he goes, "And they killed Grumman because of it, and they buried him out there." And he goes, "But I found him, and I've brought back his head for basically ID." And so, of course, his friend can ID his head that's frozen in a block of ice. And he goes, and I need money for some more for another expedition to go and find out why the Magisterium is trying to keep us from finding this sky, this city in the sky. So then we see a ceremony of what are called Egyptians, and they're having a ceremony of a daemon finally settling on its final form, and a boy reaching manhood. So he's reached puberty, I guess, and the animal has decided to take its final form. And his little brother, for some reason, takes off and goes running away. And he goes to go find him, and of course, he doesn't see him. And the boy ends up getting taken. We see a fox that's out there, and the boy ends up getting taken and dragged away. And of course, everyone's looking for him at this point. So we see Asriel. He pulls Lyra from the from behind the bookshelf there. She actually has passed out and fallen asleep, and he puts her to bed, and he's noticing all the postcards that he sent her, like taped to the wall and everything like that. And she, of course, is awake and asks him if he got the money and from the magisterium. He did. And she asks, what is dust? And he goes, there are some things that she's better off not knowing about. So why in the fuck did he tell her to ask her to listen for stuff about dust and then not tell her what dust is? I don't know, but I guess we'll find out here at some point in time. Yeah. And then she asks if they can trust the master, and he goes, "Oh, they can't trust anyone at this point." Oh, so okay, so her uncle is a bit of a dick in the books too. That's nice to know. So the master and Charles are talking about Asriel not dying, and because of him not dying, then Lyra basically has a path that she needs to follow, and she's going to leave, and that the alley, basically the compass that they have, is what she's going to need in order to have with her at this point, and they need to prepare her for it. And that she's going to be betrayed, and the person that's going to betray her is herself, is what he says. Yeah. So Roger ends up bringing her breakfast the next day, and she asks him if he ever heard anything about dust, and she's like, no. And but the Egyptians are looking for Billy. Oh yeah, and by the way, your uncle's loading up the airship and getting ready to take off. And she's like, what the fuck? And goes running out there and pleads with him to take her to the north. And he's like, nope, it's no place for kids. And then she asks him, is this airship, is this look like the one that her parents died in? And he says, no, it was a lot smaller, the one that they died in. And she runs off. And Roger tells her, yells up at her that she's special, she's special. And uh, Asriel says, everyone's special. And the airship takes off. Yeah, he is kind of a dick. So we see the Egyptians out there. They're looking for Billy, and these old dudes show up. So this is where my cable box fucking reset. Okay. I do know that we got. Uh, Now, who was this again? I lost track of who it was that I was looking for here, but Farter Like I said, I'm gonna fucking murder these things, these names. And the Western King, I guess it was. Yes, the Western King that have come along, and they are helping looking for the boy, and but they're pretty sure the gobblers have come and taken him. Farter Conan, thanks, Morks. Yeah, I'm trying to actually not uh, murder names any more than I already have. I piss off enough people as it is. I don't need to piss off people by murdering the names of characters in books that they like or shows or whatever. So, so these old dudes are basically looking for the kids. A lot of kids have been taken, but they say the gobblers probably took them and have probably taken them to London. So the next time that my cable box actually clicked back on was they're getting ready to have dinner. Everyone's doing it looked like a prayer or something like that, and they sit down, and Lyra is being introduced to Mrs. Coulter, And Mrs. Coulter wants to know more about her and actually knows about her a bit because she has talked to Azrael, and she's also an explorer. And she says she's there because the master wanted her to find a place for her, and she figures she'd be a great assistant for her and wants her to come with her to London. Yeah. And so they're going to go to London first. And so she begs and pleads and wants Roger to come with them, that he's a great servant and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, damn, you don't own him. Leave him alone, man. But nope, he's going to go. She's like, all right, he can come with us. I've got enough servants, but sure, he can come along. And then Pan, as they're walking back to the room, Pan tells her, well, maybe Roger does not want to go with us. You ever thought of that? And she goes, maybe you should have asked him about this stuff first. And Lyra's like, this is a great opportunity for him. He's going to jump at the chance. It's like, wow, man, you're kind of presuming quite a bit there. So we see Roger. He's actually taking care of some stuff in the room, and we see the fox, the one that happened by when Billy got taken, is right behind him and kind of walks past in the hallway. So we know that Roger's pretty much going to get abducted now at this point. So Charles wakes Lyra up the next day, and she's like, "Where's Roger at?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "He usually brings me breakfast in bed and all that kind of stuff." And he's like, "I don't know, but you need to come with me. The master wants to see you." And she basically is pissed off at first, telling the master, I'm going with Mrs. Coulter. You're not going to talk me out of it." And he goes, "No, no, 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 no. I just wanted to give you something." He goes, "Here's an alleviometer." Alleviometer is, I think that's that what it was called. And keep it private. Don't show it to anybody. And it's supposed to tell you the truth, is what he says. He doesn't tell her how to work it, just that it'll tell you the truth. And it's illegal to have. There's only 6 of them that were ever made, and it's illegal to have because of the magisterium. And he tells her to keep her own counsel and wishes her well. Basically, kicks her ass out the door. Yeah, Lyra is a little bit pushy. Um, she's there's another word I was going to have for her, but yeah, I'm not going to say it. So Lyra, in the meantime, is looking everywhere for Roger and shows up. He never showed up to work in the morning, and he's missing. I mean, she goes everywhere. She even goes to the crypts, and he's not down there. And so yeah, Pan's like, you know what? We need to get going. We need to pack. We need to get the hell out. We don't know where he's at. So yeah. So the old guys out in the river with the Egyptians end their search. They're basically saying, you know what? More kids are disappearing. We're wasting a lot of time here just looking for one kid. We're going to go to London and we're going to fight the gobblers and take back the kids. Um, Lyra, in the meantime, tells Mrs. Coulter that the gobblers took Roger. And she kind of shushes her a little bit and says, that is possible. And if they took him, he's not going to be here in Oxford anymore because Oxford is small and there's no place to really hide. But they probably took him to London because London is large and children disappear there all the time, as she says. And so she goes, you know what? I make you a promise. When we get to London, as soon as we sit down, we're going to start looking for him and I will find him, is what she says. Yeah. So Lyra goes back to her room to pack, and basically, Mrs. Coulter says, "Okay, I'm getting on the airship. Hopefully, you'll join me. It leaves fairly soon, so get your bags and get coming. Get going here." And Lyra ends up trying to use the compass in her room, and Pan's like, come on, get your bags packed, man. We got to get going." And she barely makes the airship, gets on board, sits next to Mrs. Coulter, and she's talking about, hey, we need to start devising a plan of what we're going to do when we get to London. And Mrs. Coulter's like, shh, you don't want to talk aboard the airship. There's a lot of people that hear things on the airship. So now's the time for quiet. And so they're looking out the window, and Lyra notices that the Egyptians are leaving as well. And then we see Roger in a cage banging on it, yelling to be let out. And that's where we leave off. Oh, yeah. And that was the other thing, too, is she fiddles with the compass in her pocket. And Mrs. Coulter's monkey Damon, uh, notices it and kind of really kind of intently peers at her. And yeah, so we see Roger banging on the cage there, yelling to be let out. And that's where we leave off. So, what do I think about this? I don't know. It was it was weird. I can see there's like religious overtones to it, but I can't really. I've never read the books, like I said. The Egyptians is what they're called. Okay, I thought they were Egyptians. So there we go, Egyptians. Thank you, Pen. Because yeah, like I said, I don't have the subtitles on going on this thing, and yeah, it's even if I did with the fucking blackout on my cable box there for a second, it was pretty pissy about it. Uh, Logan will be the first and maybe the only X-Men regenerated in the MCU. Thanks, Joe. But we're talking about something else at the moment. Um, so yeah, the Catholic Church hates the books, really. Okay. It was just kind of weird. It felt a little bit more religious-y to me than I guess, but I guess if it's written by an atheist, I don't know. I know this is supposed to be the opposite of what was it, The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, which, by the way, is kind of funny because James McAvoy is in that one as well. Remember, he plays the satyr in that one. I forget what his name is. It's not Puck, but it starts with a P. Not Pan either. I can't remember what it is. Or no, I don't remember what the hell his name is in that one. So yeah, yeah, that's right. James Ed McAvoy is in that one as well. Yes, that's one of his earlier careers. Yeah, so he's been in both. uh, so yeah, I don't know. I'm not really big on the fantasy stuff. I'm not a huge fantasy fan, I guess you could say. So this didn't steer me one way or the other. It was just kind of like there, and I was trying to keep up. That's pretty much all it was. I was trying to keep up with this world and see where we're going with it. So, um, it had good production quality. I can say that much, and the story hasn't grabbed me as so far. You know, I guess for those of you who are into the books, like Viking Bitch is saying there, I'm liking this so far. So far, very close to the books. Okay, Mr. Toomis. Yes, thank you, Pen. That's what he was playing. McAvoy, Stewart, it's all the same and confusing, especially when you've had a couple of drinks in you. Yeah. See, it's like Harry Potter. Yeah, it is kind of like Harry Potter in a way. It has that whole they just kind of throw you in the world and go, "Okay, here we go." And yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, I'll see what happens next week if it's the same thing for me or if I am suspending my disbelief, Viking bitch. It's not that I have that kind of problem. It's that for some reason fantasy just doesn't grab me at all. It doesn't you know, it doesn't move me, I guess you could say. And I don't know what it is. It's just something about it that uh doesn't float my boat, as they say. So this was neither a like or dislike on this. Yeah. So, um, yeah, I can't give a grade on this one. I have to see more and see what's going on with it before I can make a decision. But with that said, if you like what you see here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, like, share, and subscribe. And if you're still on the fence about joining up, you're going to see a video pop up here at the end of the video here. And what this is all the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching is used to pluck one video out of my library that matches as closely as possible to those algorithms and puts it right up there straight for you. Up here is going to be Watchmen. I'll put Watchmen up there. Yeah, there we go. So Okay, Dennis, did you like this pilot better than the Amazon ferries? Oh, yeah, Joe. The Amazon ferry one, you're talking about Carnival Row? Carnival Row is pretty shitty. I couldn't get through that one. I tried. I really did, and I just couldn't do it. I actually gave up on Carnival Row. So, yeah. If they keep going like this, I think the story will be good, is what if I can. Okay. And sorry you're hearing the fucking demon spawn outside my window, and not Damon, but demon. Yes, demon spawn. So tomorrow is going to be Is It Worth My Time? And this one's going to be a movie called The History of Time Travel, which is on Amazon Prime at the moment. So no new demon spawn. It's the same stupid little shits that have been out there for a while. Um, let's see what else. Wednesday and Thursday I'm off, thankfully. And then Friday is going to be Titans season 2. And then Saturday is Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I talk about the genre news of the week and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about. And then Sunday is a double header of Mr. Robot and Watchmen. And by the way, tomorrow's Is It Worth My Time is the final Is It Worth My Time until until stuff thins out a bit more, because the Mandalorian is actually going to start up next week and going to take over Tuesday nights. Does anyone remember Outland? Yes, I remember Outland. Sean Connery in space. That was a really bad Sean Connery right there. But what do you want? So yeah, like I said, I don't remember what year it took place in. I know it's 21st century, but I can't remember the year. I remember. Yeah. Uh, you need to get your subscription. Oh, to Amazon Prime. Yeah. So, yeah, take a look at it. The history of time travel is what's going on tomorrow there, and it's a no budget movie. I figured I'd bring something to the last one of this to throw it in. Oh, you're talking about Disney Plus? Yeah. Yeah. Joe, there was a lot of opportunities to get it. I kept mentioning it. You almost thought I was working for Disney Plus, how much I was fucking mentioning getting a subscription to that thing, because I ended up buying a subscription. It was basically 2 years for the price of, or excuse me, 3 years for the price of two, is what I got my subscription at. And I'm okay with that. I just paid for it all up front, and I was like, yeah, that's not bad. It wasn't. It worked out like $4 a month. Yes, I saw Scanner Darkly in the theater, Joe Greer. My buddy who I went and saw it with was drunk off his ass, and I believe passed out during the movie. So he doesn't remember any of it at all. I caved into the pressure and got the deadly the dead. Oh, the deal. Okay, I did too. You should ask them to for a split of the commission. Yeah, I know. Really, tell me about it. Yeah, Disney won't do that. I did find it was kind of funny on my Twitter feed. I am following the Doom Patrol writers, and for some reason, they're at Disneyland. They're all wearing the same shirt of Mr. Negative. Not Mr. Negative. Negative Man. Is that right? Yes, Negative Man, flying across their chest. They're all like bright red shirts, and I thought it was kind of funny. I'm like, isn't that kind of like um, Coca-Cola bottlers going to a Pepsi plant? Because they're DC and Disney is Marvel, and I actually kind of want to write that on their Twitter wall there on their little picture, but I didn't have any time because I was doing some other stuff. So, see you, Viking bitch. I will see you tomorrow. Yeah. Uh, oh, wow. Okay. Um, I don't know what you're talking about, Joe Greer, because there's no such person in the movie, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, they might be. I read somewhere James Gunn is bringing the world together. Ah, good for him. All right. I'm going to let you guys go for the night. Thank you to everybody who joined me tonight in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. Um, Remember, keep those comments clean in the comments there. Or, you know, yes, I fuck up names. It happens quite a bit. That's my shtick. It's not really my shtick. It's me. It really is. Um, oh, really? He has a small cameo in the movie. I didn't realize that. That's kind of weird. In that case, I might not want to do that movie then. If that's the case, I didn't know that. I'll think about it then. I might change it out. So, thank you, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up finding out that you got a golden compass, but you don't know how the hell it works because you're talking into it like a communicator, and you think you're Captain Kirk. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.